been 6 years now since we've been locked in with the hiss. I don't care about your day job if you can hold a gun and use a tool. Firebreak needs you. I'll be frank with you, this ain't an easy shift, but at least you won't be alone. Your fellow Firebreakers will have your back. Fighting together, fixing together, and hell, even showering together. If you can stand your ground and stick together, it'll be more than enough to survive.
Corrupted item loose on site.
On my way.
That's the job. Sounds simple enough. Good. I've got a liability waiver here with your name on it.
That trailer was absolutely epic, delivered on all fronts, but it did take me back to my student days. It might have been the post-it notes, the traffic lights, and the slight feeling of regret in the shower. What have we signed up to? Mike Kayatta, you're the Game Director of FBC Firebreak from Remedy Games. Thank you so much for joining us. What have we signed up to here?
Yeah, lots. So that was our big launch trailer. We're coming out in just over a week now, so we're really excited to share a lot more of the game, stuff that we haven't shown, a little bit of all of the 5 jobs in the game, which are kind of different crises that you have to deal with. But yeah, so we're getting close now.
I remember when Control came out in 2019, and we're revisiting that world in FBC. Why was now the right time to revisit?
Yeah, so right now it was just a great time for us to kind of go back to the oldest house. We never wanted it to kind of feel like we were retreading on Control, and that was like definitely something we thought about a lot. And one of the reasons why we shifted into a first-person perspective, so you could kind of go back into the oldest house and see it from fresh eyes in a different way.
I mean, you did have a lot of fun in Control, and also we're in first person this time, so...
Yeah, so of course very different, and I think as anyone can tell from that trailer, we're extremely, like tonally to the side of Control. And this was a really big challenge for us, because of course Control was very moody and atmospheric and very like horror tinged, but of course it did always have that little edge of absurdity. And speaking to that, this is kind of like why we leaned into that more absurd angle, because, you know, Control was very carefully built for a single player experience. Since we are sort of a kind of joke around with your mates and just kind of have fun thing, we didn't want to totally like betray that franchise, but we did want to take those kind of recipe components and just flip them around. So we keep that kind of edge of like horror and tension and stakes, and we just add a lot of the absurdity at a higher value. So for example, like you saw Sticky Ricky, our gigantic monster made out of sticky notes. In one of our trailers, you know, somebody I think actually shouts like, "Sticky Ricky! Sticky Ricky!" Which was to us very, very funny, but that character, completely terrifying.
And Sticky Ricky is joining us today.
Yes.
He's just getting himself together, and maybe he'll answer a few of my questions. Say I don't necessarily have 3 straight-up fraggers on my team. Are there roles that we can adopt in this game?
Yeah, absolutely. So the game is kind of built around a trifecta of kind of saved loadouts that are centered around tools. We call these crisis kits, and each one was developed with a different play style in mind. So we have one that kind of shoots these gigantic like liquid globules you saw in the trailer, and this is for the person we always just imagine almost like Scarface, like I don't really care, I just kind of want to, you know, paint the world with something. And then we have another one which is a tool that kind of looks like a pogo stick mixed with a defibrillator, and you might be surprised, but we always thought this is like a precision and tactical instrument just because you can kind of relocate yourself and move around easily. And then we have the last really complex tool, which is literally just a wrench. Just a wrench, it's a gigantic piece of steel. So we made a lot of active decisions to try to get people right into the gameplay. So that's at the cost of some direct storytelling, but we haven't scrimped any on the world building and the big narrative and what it feels like to be inside of the oldest house.
We do associate Remedy with these big narrative games, so much imagination, atmosphere, obviously Alan Wake, obviously Control.
Sure.
So this feels like a new departure for you guys moving into this space. So why
Yeah. And to be clear, it's fundamentally different. You shouldn't go into this game whatsoever expecting those types of experiences, which, by the way, I personally adore. I started Remedy as a massive fan of Remedy, so this isn't a pushback on that type of experience. But the thing is that we, as soon as we started making more than one game at the same time, we just wanted to say, hey, is there a way to kind of like open the doors? If you are a huge Control head and you know all the lore and you really love it, and you can't convince your friends to try this game out, we wanted to give that kind of step in. So even though it's not really what Remedy is today, I do hope that a little over a week from now, it will be part of what Remedy is in the future.
So, Mike, as an online cooperative shooter, what does this game look like in, say, a year's time?
Yeah, that's a great question, especially because, you know, the online space, I think a lot of people treat it very differently. One of the big things that we're about is avoiding kind of like FOMO, like engagement. You know, you don't need to check in every day. We're not going to kind of add a timed battle pass. So if you come in on day one and you come back to us a year from now, all you're going to see is all the great stuff that we add. And speaking of that, already in this year, we're going to add 2 more jobs. That adds to the other 5 game modes that we ship with, already growing it by about 40% by the end of the year. We've got additional endgame systems and lots of plans.
I'm just pitching, it's a stapler, like opened out and it just...
Okay, I have news for you. There is a stapler in the game.
I'm a genius.
So in the game, actually in that trailer, you probably saw that big traffic light. That's actually called the red light. It's an altered item you may have seen in Control. It's now corrupted by the hiss, and in certain settings, it can show up and kind of hit you with a big red light. You're not allowed to move until it gives you a green light. There's another one, which is a stapler, which if you are a super Control nerd, you might remember from some of the posters in the oldest house. Is that a stapler an altered item? And then you see a nice little clip art of a stapler. Well, that stapler actually shows up, and it kind of behaves like a fly. It sort of like buzzes around your face and gives all the enemies a lot of additional health. So yeah, there you go.
Where can we sign up?
Yeah, lots of ways to play this game. Of course, we're on all the major consoles, on Epic Game Store, or you can head over to Steam where you can wishlist the game today. It comes out June 17th. Grab your friends, and we hope to see you there.
Well, go on then. Go clean the oldest house. Sign up today. Thank you so much, Mike, and
yeah, thank you.
Good luck.